What's up, everybody? This is Ruben here. Here doing a sports talk, taking a walk here. But anyways, I want to kind of get this out. There's a couple things that happened in basketball. Obviously, the Lakers lost to Orlando Magic again for the second time in like 2 weeks. One of the things that's interesting about the fact that they lost, one of the things that's interesting, the reason why they lost, if you look at why are they losing to the Orlando Magic, it's because Orlando is doing to them what they've been doing to people. It's their second unit. The second unit of Orlando Magic scored 26, I think, or 30 points, and it was a rather low-scoring game. It's an interesting fact there. Another thing, too, is the turnover battle. The Los Angeles Lakers had 18 turnovers to 22 assists, and that turnover to assist ratio is a good indication as to how they're playing. Now, one thing that was interesting is that Kyle Kuzma and LeBron James each had over 5 turnovers in the game. That's a rather unusual thing. So the turnover to assist ratio was very low, or rather very high for turnovers, and the fact that Orlando's second unit was being very productive. So there's a couple takeaways from that game of when you start seeing why the Lakers are losing is because of that. And another big reason why too is that free throw percentage. That free throw percentage is very, very low. One of the things at 64%, you know, they missed 11 free throws. If you make 2 or 3 of those, the game is the different dynamic. The game dynamics at the end are very, very different. So we got to get a handle on. We got to get a handle on how we are shooting free throws. That's just like, those are like easy buckets. The turnover to ratio. Lonzo Ball's got to do more with the ball. He's got to quarterback the offense a little better when he's out there. That's going to be a huge thing. What can happen is when Rajon Rondo comes back, he'll be a committed second string player, or they're going to give him a chance to start again. It's all up to Lonzo Ball and how he responds. There was a comment that LeBron James made that Lonzo Ball doesn't know how good he is. It almost seems like it has to do with confidence, and he doesn't know how aggressive he needs to be when he's playing. So what is that about, How is that working where he is, he's in the starting rotation. He's got to be able to slow the pace or speed the pace up, know when to be aggressive and or recognize mismatches. Obviously, Orlando's second unit was out. There was a mismatch in the second unit, and that's why they were able to score almost 30 points between 2 players. So that's an interesting look at how you beat a team, right? So that's what the Lakers were doing to people. Orlando did to them a little bit better. That's why it seems like they have their number. So, Lakers took the L on that. Next time they play them, if they play them again, you got to be able to recognize that, and you got to be able to do something about it. I mean, how does that work where you're not examining, the 2 times you lost, that could have put you at, 12-5. That could have put you at a whole different atmosphere, a whole different position in the Western Conference. So you got to be able to catch those mistakes. You got to be able to recognize where your deficiencies are, and you got to be able to address them. That's not a LeBron James. And by the way, too, he played 40 minutes. Remember I said, the Lakers are going to win if LeBron James plays less than 35 or less minutes a game. It's very important. Seems like when he's out there too much, they're struggling. So there's that with the Lakers. It was an interesting game, and there was a bunch of takeaways from that, observations. Also, okay, so let's get into football, right? You had a bunch of teams. Everybody won that was supposed to win. But the biggest takeaway is, or a good observation, is Lamar Jackson from the Baltimore Ravens. Yeah, he played the Raiders. Yeah, he didn't do so well. But when have we had a running quarterback in the last couple years in this new era of protecting the quarterback, right? A quarterback gets banged up a lot less. So the question is if a young Cam Newton was in this type of scenario from the beginning, would he have been more durable? Can you run the ball more as a quarterback? I think you can. I think there's something there. If Lamar Jackson, they have to figure out, because I think they had 180 yards on the ground against the Raiders. Now that's no big feat. However, a quarterback that can run the ball now becomes an additional threat to what's going on. So I like Lamar Jackson. They got to find an offensive coordinator that is willing to try to figure out an effective offensive scheme for him. And I think he can be a good quarterback in this league of everybody getting protected, of quarterbacks not being able to be hit, about all the penalties and stuff like that. He's not going to get banged up as much. He's a big guy. He's not like real hefty, but he's a tall, capable quarterback. So I think there's something to that. I can see Lamar Jackson. I can see them letting go to Flacco. Lamar Jackson, he's got 2 W's and 2 starts. Now, provided it was a gimme game against the Raiders. This is true. The Raiders, who else is here? The Raiders have the ability, who else is there? The Raiders have the ability to lose every single game because they want to get a #1 draft pick, which again, if ownership does not sign those first-round draft picks when they do become something, it's literally pointless. You become the Cleveland Browns all over again. So that's an important takeaway. I like Lamar Jackson. He didn't throw the ball very well. He didn't run the ball very well. He wasn't as effective as you would think. But it forces, just like we talked about in the other things, now you have to prepare for a guy that is going to run the ball. People are not preparing for that no more. So if you get a guy that's in the league that's running the ball, and then he can pass a little bit, he gets some running attack a little bit, you can dictate and control pace, right? And if you win the turnover battle, because he threw 2 picks, if you eliminated those 2 picks, they would have won by more. That's his inexperience in the starting rotation. That's maybe a confidence issue. And that's them not being able to plan. Like, they haven't figured out how to draw a plays for him and set things up, right? It's like I talked to this poker player guy, and he was telling me how one play leads to the other, to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next. Lamar Jackson's got to get on that. He's got to get on that program, because if he can set him up with a run-pass combination where he could throw the ball and he could be dynamic like he is, how fast he is, how quick he is, how shifty he is, dude, that guy could be dangerous. But it takes an offensive coordinator to be able to recognize what you have. Like, you need a Bill Belichick system where you're figuring out who you have there and who you can mismatch with, because he's a mismatch in itself. He's the type of person that it's hard to plan for him, and they will, right? If he becomes a starting quarterback next year, they'll plan and they'll draw plays against him and they'll figure it out. But where it becomes difficult is how effective is he in controlling the clock? Passing, yeah, he can figure it out. But if he can control the clock, and if he can do that, and if he can not throw interceptions, not give up turnovers, they could win a bunch of games, dude. All you got to have is a good running back to keep you honest and 2 receivers. That's all you have to have. And so I think that was an interesting game of the whole week. That game with the Raiders, yeah, the Raiders are 2-9, and we can go on and on about them. But, Lamar Jackson still beat a team, okay? Cleveland won. Obviously, they're figuring out what Baker Mayfield's strengths are, and they're finding mismatches in the defense. That's all it is. Is Baker Mayfield heads and bounds better than Lamar Jackson? Of course he is. But Lamar Jackson he has an opportunity. He has something way different. He's just a lot faster and stronger than a lot of quarterbacks. So he poses a strategy issue. Strategy issues are hugely important. That's why Drew Brees and Tom Brady, that's why all these top tier quarterbacks win, because it's a strategy issue. They can't plan for Tom Brady because he can hurt you everywhere. Lamar Jackson can hurt you in a unique way. And if you expose that in the defense, when defenses start adjusting to that, you can score some points and you can definitely control the game. If you can control the game, you can win a 10-9 defensive struggle. You can win a 13-14 game. You can win those type of games. And nowadays where the Rams won 54-51, a guy that can control the pace of the game in Lamar Jackson through his feet, he doesn't have to get better as a passer. He just has to get better at not giving up the ball. So anyways, those are my observations for this week. Again, the Lakers lost because they got done to them, what they've been doing to people in their second unit. Orlando's second unit, for some reason, has a huge advantage in the way they're playing against us. Lakers now to be able to figure that out, because now more teams are going to key in on that. I don't think other teams have the personnel that Orlando has. Even though Orlando doesn't have a great record, I think they're still figuring it out. So anyways, this is going to be kind of short. And anyways, if you enjoyed it, if you think I'm wrong, blast me on the comments. If you liked it, you like it, that's great. So anyways, talk to you guys later. Bye.